Well, I'm here. Oh, the silence is incredible. Just a few birds. That area up through there is limited access depending on the time of year, because there's ground nesting birds which they don't want disturbed, obviously, so there's times of the year when you're not allowed in there, or you're not supposed to. There'll be people in this area taking no notice of that, like there was yesterday on the beach. But where I'm off to is out that side. The first job is find a hole in the hedge. Well, get me boots on, then find a hole in the hedge. It's taken me ages to find somewhere to get the car off the flipping road, where it's not in somebody's way. So I'm not blocking the gate or anything here. So what I'm after is in that area, out there, somewhere. This could be fun. Still, you're not going to find anything standing here. Yeah, let's go. Well, that looks a likely spot, because so far walking along here, looking up there, which is the side of the road I need to be, it's been nearly all heather, and what I'm looking for won't be in the heather. It needs a grassy area. So that's a good start. That's not a good start. How am I supposed to get across there? And then you've got the wood for the trees syndrome again. I'm out here on an orchid hunt, searching the horizon, when there's some right under my nose. Always the way, isn't it? Right under your feet. There are quite a few along the grass verge, but this is not what I'm looking for. These would probably be marsh orchids, and there's several. There's quite a few around. Various places poking through the long grass, just on the side of the road. But that's not what I'm looking for. Allegedly, some people have told me that there are a few of what I'm looking for on the side of the road, but you just walk past them. So I have been keeping my eyes open. But yeah, we've got some on the side of the road. So, but what I need to do is find a way across that fence. The fence is there for a reason. It's not to keep people out, it's to keep animals in. There is a difference. There's another little group there. Anyway, I can't do climbing over fences with a camera in my hand, so there's actually quite a few. There's another one up here. So these are going over, basically. They've seen better days. So yeah, fat chance. To get a flood, we need some frickin' rain, don't we? And this is the thunderstorms. These are they. Not a thundercloud anywhere to be seen in the horizon in every direction. Not a light. As usual, they'll probably go either side and I'll get no rain. Anyway, let's see if we can get across this fence. Just warming up in the sun, I would think. See if I can zoom in. Bit too early for butterflies to be flying. That's blurred. Anyway, that's a common blue, I think. No expert. Female, no doubt. Oh well, it's a start. And that one, I think, is a small blue, which is our smallest butterfly. I suspect that's blurred. There's not a lot of light around at the moment. Nice one. Now that was unexpected. I've just headed for the high ground to get away from the boggy bits. And when I get up to the top, it's boggy. Some unusual plants here. The most obvious are the sundews, which there are lots. Obviously different mosses. And these little yellow flowers are everywhere. Whatever they are. Don't ask. But yeah, so this was not what I was expecting. I was expecting this area up here to be dry, which is what I need. So now we will have to find a different way. You can see I've climbed quite a bit. You can see the line of trees there where the fence was. And that bottom part looked like it should be boggy, but it wasn't. It was dry. It had been, and probably is a lot of the year, but it wasn't at the moment. Climb, 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 climb until you get to near the top, and now it's probably too wet for me to walk about. I'll have to find another way, but I'll just show you the sun dews while I'm there. Our native sun dews. It's carnivorous plants, lots of sphagnum moss obviously, and standing water, which I don't need even though I've got my walking boots on. Some of these can look half an inch deep and you go up to your flipping knees, so we won't be walking on that, we'll go round, which is a nuisance. We always say if you're trying to find something, climb. So I've come up to a high point. This does overlook part of the harbour now. This is the top end of the harbour, where I would think that line is the bleeding good. That's probably the Wareham River running up there. Top end of the harbour, and the salt marshes, protected area, lots of rare birds and nesting birds and stuff in this expanse. Liable to flooding with salt water obviously. It's a estuary harbour, so brackish water or whatever they call it. But from up here I don't see the sort of terrain I'm expecting to find. So maybe the guidance was wrong and we're going to go home empty-handed. But this heatherland is not any good for what I'm looking for. So we will carry on walking, you know, wherever there's a track. It's got to come out somewhere. Might save clambering over the fence again. Oh, I can see my car over there in the trees. Anyway, I shall carry on looking. We'll see what we come up with. But the sun is starting to get warm. And I don't want to end up too far from the car because knowing the way the weather is, as soon as you start seeing that shape, this could be thunderclouds forming in their early stages. And if they decide to actually do their thing, I don't really want to be out in it. So we'll see how we go. Now, this is what is generally called lost. I haven't seen a landmark or anything for some time. I had to leave the marshy area. Totally illogical, the higher I went. And that lovely track I was walking along that I thought would lead me back to the road just stopped, which was followed by a very marshy area which I had to go round. And I thought, well, we'll head for the woods because the woods line the road. That's the way the landscape is. So we've got a totally different terrain now. And my sun has gone, but the brightest area is here. So at this time of day, this is east-ish. And there is no way I can keep going in this direction without hitting the road. Especially as it looks like there's a field ahead. So the chances are the road is right there. So it was a good guess, but it was a guess. Some lovely little ferns in this area. Some I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, onwards, hopefully, to a road. And then I've got to go that way, back to a big triangle, and then back on myself that way to get back to the car. I'm borderline giving this up as a lost cause. This is not the right habitat. It's not even close. So maybe I was given porky pies or bad directions, one or the other. Anyway, let's find this road. I'll be happier when I've got something firm under my feet that isn't soggy. There's some more unusual ferns with some unusual growths. You've got your natural fern, and then you've got these long, tall growths coming up. Now these would be growing on the bank of water under normal circumstances. This, I would imagine, under normal circumstances is water. But we've had so much dry weather, it's not anymore. Anyway, I love it when a plan comes together. There's the road. Now let's see how far away we are. Something about ancient oak trees. Something special. Magnificent tree. Would be more magnificent if some of the trees that are close to it weren't there. And you could see the natural shape. But look at the trunk. Absolutely gorgeous. That was the first thing I saw when I got onto the road. Which is heading off in that direction. You might think if you're lost, how do you know whether to go left or right? Well, I just do. And if in 3 hours' time I haven't found the car, I was wrong. Now I do know what I'm doing. Right, let's do it. And when you're in an area that's as big a nature reserve as this, and you see something enclosed in fencing, there's something in there. And it's probably rare and needs protection. But often in areas like this, the protection is from the animals, from the grazing deer, of which there are. I've seen quite a few, but as fast as I get the camera out, they're off. Much earlier in the day to see the deer, or late. But that habitat's not right. So whatever that is, there's a very, very rare type of heather that grows in this area. It could be just that, a couple of outcrops of the heather. But that's not the right sort of environment for what I'm looking for. It's wrong. It's too it would be classed as too acidic. The fact that the heather's growing well, and all those conifers, and what that bird was, I really don't know. That's not one I know. Anyway, I'm in an area that I don't frequent. This is not the sort of environment I normally go to. It's not my favourite type of environment. I like the deciduous forests, and somewhere where I don't get my feet wet all the time. So I'm not going to go in there and have a look at that on the grounds. It's another barbed wire fence, and I don't think that's right anyway. But I am now, what is that bird? I am now very close. The little bit of the road's just back there, and whoops, it shows as a fork in the road. There's one enormous spider just now. We don't like those. But he was going about his business, concerned about me, so things like that you leave alone, they all serve a purpose. So we get back to the road, which is here. See, this would normally be too soggy to get across, but it's not. It's very prickly, but I got thick jeans on. Right, that's the fork in the road, which effectively is the start of what's called the triangle, because the road goes off that way and meets a road coming that way, and it goes that way and meets the same road, which means there's a triangle in the middle. And these orchids are supposed to be around the triangle area. No specific instructions, just that. But the environment doesn't look right to me. So maybe I've been given duff budgies. But I remember talking to one person that had seen these orchids here, only one, and his basic instructions were, mind you don't tread on them. So it's almost as though they're in a place that you wouldn't expect them to be. Anyway, I'm going to carry on having a bit of a look in this area. See, I was thinking when I initially came down here, I was going to stick the car in there. This is where I was hoping that track would end up, but it didn't. Don't you just love tracks like that? What is that for? Oh, it's a pond. Ooh. There would be newts in there. This area here has, I believe, all 6 of our native amphibians, which is, well, no, actually there's more than that. I'm getting in a muddle. All 6 of our native reptiles are here. I'm not sure about the amphibians, but given the type of water, I would say there would be newts in there anyway. I mean, the water looks clear enough, it doesn't stink. It's low. You can see the water's normally a lot higher than that. Anyway, this is not the right area for what I'm looking for. It's just wrong. It needs to be more like this. They're not here, are they? Because I've done this before where I've been standing right next to things. No, they're not here. Had to be worth a look though, didn't it? But that's more like the sort of environment I'm looking for, is more grass than heather. Anyway, let's carry on having a look. That looks a bit more promising. That don't look so good. I've never seen anything like that before. Well, it looks like that just comes unhooked, but it's not a gate. It's just strands of wire on a post. There's no sign saying no entry or anything, and if that undoes reasonably easily, then obviously it's okay to go in there. Worth a try. Come a long way. Let's see what happens. Now, although it looks like it comes undone, it doesn't. Effectively, that bit sticking up there that goes through the post, to get that undone you have to undo that big nut and release the tension basically. You can see the tension on that top wire holding that bit, so that's not coming undone. So we won't do that. I've already climbed over too many barbed wire fences, got a hole in my arm, and oh, that's healed up now. Got a hole in my hand as well, so, and I think I've got a tear in the back of my jeans, but I can't get round there at the moment. So we will still carry on looking for a bit. You won't be able to see the detail, but I want to record the noise. It's a little stone chat. You can imagine banging two pebbles together. Stone chat. That's the noise it makes. It's basically its alarm call. Oh, there he goes. They're pretty little birds if you can get close enough to see them. But they love to sit on the highest little bit of low bushes. That's where they like to be. There's no point in zooming in on it. There's no light. You can see what the sky's doing now. It's thickening up. And the thicker it gets, the closer I need to be to the car. This has all the hallmarks of just opening up soon. So we will head back to the car along the winding road. There's actually loads of orchids on the roadside, but unfortunately they're not the ones I'm looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. They're not even close. Totally the wrong colour for a start. This habitat just doesn't look right. Maybe I got really old information, and habitats do change. You know, water levels rise and lower themselves. Heather is invasive, it will creep in. So I don't know. Well, there's certainly an awful lot on the roadside. You know, if you came here just to see a few orchids, all you got to do is walk along the road. But unfortunately, it's not the sort I want. And I don't envisage finding the ones I want on the roadside, although there is a remote possibility. So I'll keep looking, but some other interesting flowers on the roadside, things like this. That's pretty little flowers, and that's clover, I believe. Different colours. But, yeah, it's quite an interesting verge, but it hasn't got what I want in it, and I don't expect it to. But we'll keep looking until we get to the car. But yeah, the orchids just pop up as you're walking along. I say there's a reasonable number. That's not what I want, unfortunately, but we will keep looking. There's an area out there, looks a lot more like it, but I can't get there. You follow this bracken here into that sunken area there. That is wet. That's bad. You can just tell by the shape of it. And then you've got gorse bushes, but the other side of there, that grassy area, that is more like what I'm looking for. Doesn't have to be short grass, but there would be naturally short patches in there. Still, we shall see. So there's a bike going past. Stand on the side of the road talking to myself. I know people locally think I'm nuts, but I don't want them this far away. Oh! You may have just caught that go across. That tiny little bird was a Dartford warbler. I haven't seen one of them for about 40 years. There's no way I'm going to find it. Oh well. Right, I've driven back to the triangle. Now, the road I've just come down is where I came from, so I know where that goes. It's where I came from. I know where that goes, and it's a dead end. It arrives at the RSPB site with their viewing platforms and things like that. So I know where that goes. Now, that's got a sign that says Corfe Castle. I've never been down that road, so we're going to go down that road and see what we can see. There might be some really nice views of the harbour. Who knows? Let's go and have a look. Now this is orchid country, but I'm not clambering up there, and bearing in mind the top of the hills are now virtually in the clouds, but look at the colour of the thistles, they're absolutely gorgeous. But why I stopped here No, I'm not clambering up there. There are some steps around the other side. This is the back end. But I saw a sign, I thought I'm so close. There's quite a few different types of orchids actually grow on the slopes of the castle. So, yeah, Corfe Castle, anyway. What you can see of it in the mist. But it just goes to show the clouds are rolling in. This is how people get caught out. They head off onto the moors in the sunshine, and then this comes in, and you lose your bearings, you lose all track of what direction, you've lost all your landmarks, and you're in your shorts, t-shirt and trainers. Yeah, and then the rescue people have to come and find you. So I thought we'd come and have a look at that. Well, this road's a bit busier than I'm used to. Anyway, I must get going. Now, I wasn't sure they'd be open, but after all the walking I've been doing, plus the fact I've come back, in theory, empty-handed. Sausage, bacon and egg bap. And I'm going to sit here and thoroughly enjoy that, and then I'm going to make my way home.